started taking classes in the arts only in 7th grade. And then I didn't start taking classes from, let's say, Black professionals until I was a senior in high school and then in college. And so for a while, I really didn't know what I was going to do after I graduated high school. So I went into nutrition. And I figured, well, my dancing career as a professional is over.
I started out at architectural engineering technology over at OCUS because I was always told that, you know, if you're an artist, you might as well become an architect because you can't make any money as an artist. But that was when I met Mr. O'Neill somewhere on some street corner where I was maybe trying to show some art, and he kind of looked at me and said, "Hey, brother, why don't you come on over to this art consortium on Land Street?" And I was like, I don't even know, like, last time I went to Land Street, it wasn't for the right reason. So let me check this out. And so I went over to consortium and met with Mr. O'Neill and got to meet Toilynn and her mama, and it was a wonderful experience. So it got me started on a different path, a better path than I was going in.
Kids want the exposure. They want to go someplace positive. When you have negative around you, all you do is negative.
And the arts might be the way, perhaps the only way left, for people to find themselves, find their soul, find their hope, and come together, join together.
It's like investing in our future and investing in our now. We need it now. Oftentimes I'm passing by and when I see young people just congregated on the corners, I remember that didn't exist as much because they were congregated in the arts center where they were learning and being nurtured.
Until we know where we are located, we really can't be venturing out. Because you have to, whenever you venture out, you are representing where you came from.
As far as Robert O'Neill is concerned, I always thought he looked like Smokey Robinson of the Miracles. Yes. He was a very kind man, a great artist, always doing things for people.
He was the artist of the community. He was the artist. And it's not about having the most beautiful piece of artwork. He just embodied art in the community. He was everywhere.
My husband, he was not a dreamer, he was a doer. And he believed in helping others. And I think the whole time we were married, that's what he was doing. He helped others and he kept things going. No matter who came to him and asked him something, he always said, "We can do this."
I had mentioned earlier to his wife that I don't think I ever went to an art show, church, where they had some artists that I didn't see her. And it got to the point I started looking for her because she was always there. And if I didn't see her, I'm like, she's got to be here somewhere. So she was just always involved.
Every time we would have special things, the community would come out. There was an older generation there, but they cared about their community. And that's what we want to bring back to the community. Caring about the community.
But I would see Robert mostly down on Vine Street, downtown. When he opened his shop, we helped him get open, and for a long time, that was a place to go, and I sent a lot of my children under him. The Arts Consortium down on Lynn Street was a big thing for us who came from Lincoln Heights. When I became pastor of the church, I made sure that arts were part of our church in terms of my ministry. So Robert was very instrumental in that.
I just remember being drawn to the Arts Consortium because that's where, if there was any Black art, that's where it would be.
I remember going to the Arts Consortium all the time for activities as a kid, and then also artists who could not get into galleries around the city, they had showings at the Arts Consortium. It opened the door to what was not present in the city. And later when I left the city, I got to see more Black artists in different genres in the arts community. And, you know, it's not here, but the Arts Consortium opened that door to showcase what could be and what is in the arts community and who is creative and not creative, but who was able to teach.
Being at the Arts Consortium, It was all there. We'd meet there, and I got to meet other artists from all over.
It was a place where you could do and be anything you wanted. And it was the first time in my life. I went to performing arts. It was the first time in my life that I knew and I felt and I saw, I lived what it meant to be an artist and a Black artist, because I didn't learn about that at performing arts at all.
It was a consortium of every aspect of whatever a child, a young adult, or an elder needed to fulfill the art requirement that we all have, whether we recognize that or not.
We had a group called Umoja with Terrence Corbin, Tom Shaw, Mr. O'Neill, and all the other wonderful artists that were there. And that mentorship, and especially seeing it from people like me, was fantastic. And they invite you into the studio and took you under their wing.
There were artists from many different levels, and I think it's that mentorship, the camaraderie that is essential, and that's what Cincinnati is missing right now for African American artists. There's no hub there, and we need that hub.
We have a rich culture, we have a rich history in the arts. Matter of fact, I don't think there would have been much art if it hadn't been for us. A lot of what we did was stolen back during the days, and people took it and made it their own, but it came from the brains, the minds, and the talents of our people. And so that's why I feel that the Regal should be a staple as a Charles. And all of the things that was great in Cincinnati, they need to be magnified and made to be alive for the youngsters who are coming behind us can realize that they too can achieve.
It was there. It was there. And when it left a big, gaping hole.
Very excited to be assisting in saving the Regal, the last iconic building in the West End, and to assist also in creating the Robert O'Neill Multicultural Arts Center.
You know, it's going to be sort of holistic in a sense that you'll have art classes for the young kids who want to come in and begin to draw, and you praise them and you encourage them, and you'll be able to see sometime at a very early age where there's going to be talent. And that way you can begin to identify them and encourage them along with their parents to nurture those kids that really show not only the interest but the talent. But at the same time, there's going to be exhibits of artists. You know, I may give the museum some of my paintings. And people can come and look at some Harlem Renaissance paintings. So there'll be something for adults. It will be something for college students who want to be an entrepreneur, who want to be an artist, yet they want to really hone their business skills.
Anybody that knows me knows that I am all about knowledge, education, and information. And to know that we're getting ready to bring about the ROMAC Center for the community, it'll be good for the youth as well as adults. So I think it's just a plus to bring it back to the community and let it continue to be ours.
They'll get to see new experiences. And you have to understand that's important because a lot of people, their experiences, they only see them on the television set. They only see them in the movies, and they don't get to see the role models. They don't get to see the great artists that are out there and the things that they can do.
I went to the University of Cincinnati's DAT program, and I was in the fashion design program. I really worked the full spectrum of the fashion industry, from corporate fashion design to couture fashion design. And from working that really wide range of different types of fashion companies, I really learned that I wanted to be my own business person and my own fashion designer. So from there, I graduated and I went on Project Runway, where I did pretty good. I came home, I started my brand, and then I most recently was on Project Runway All-Stars. As a Black artist or designer, a lot of times we feel like motherless children. I mean, if it wasn't for mentors in my life like Toilynn O'Neill, I really would have little little to no direction on how to carve out my own path as a fashion designer and how to figure this out on my own and do this on my own.
They need someone to believe in them, and ROMAC will believe in them.
Artists need to know how to handle their money, how to be a successful business person. But I'm also excited about the opportunity that young African Americans will have an opportunity to learn how to be a restorer like Gilbert Young or a curator. You know, these are typical occupations that we're not privy to even know when they are open. I couldn't tell you if there's any job openings, but they don't come across us. But here's a chance to train them, and in that training, they would develop relationships with big companies and restorer companies and be well trained. And you don't necessarily have to have a college education. And that's what I love. It's an opportunity to get a skill set that will give you a chance to have a productive life. And I think that's just fascinating. No one in the country is doing that.
This is a whole different era in which we now live. And so therefore, ROMAC is going to come with all of the past, but it's going to incorporate the future and the present technology. You can be an artist and still, you don't have to be very creative, but you have some knowledge of art. And you can look at art and enjoy art.
I already have the vision in my head, and it's such a beautiful landmark. I could see myself holding different workshops there, different artist talks there, and just having a home base to kind of work out of.
I think the ROMAC is definitely going to be a place where people can come and not only express themselves, but be able to see professional artists excelling and being able to be taught by those artists on how to excel and how to take their creative craft and earn a living.
So a center like the ROMAC would give artists of color a place to create from the comfort of being at home, and a place to connect to other artists, to create freely, and to have our work on display.
I think the ROMAC is going to be the central point for arts in the city of Cincinnati. The larger arts community, arts organizations are doing an injustice to the residents and to the children because they're not showcasing what is out there and what we can see. The ROMAC will do that, like the Arts Consortium did that. Whether it's plays, whether it's art, or as an artist or a filmmaker or a musician, we're not seeing them on our national stages, but we'll see them at the ROMAC.
My husband and I have 14 grandbabies here in the city. And I want to say that they are all, in some aspect, involved in the arts. And so I'm hoping that they will get to have some benefits from it being there.
It's a place where in the country, in the world, it's known that you can come here and develop yourself, and you don't have to leave if you don't want to, and still be successful and thriving. And I just want to give everything I have to see it happen.
Give to the ROMAC that gives to our present and our future.
I think that people need to give where their heart is connected. Why they should give to the ROMAC Center, I would hope that it's because they care about reaching back to do something for others that will come along behind them.
ROMAC will be a beacon of positivity that the kids need, and they will see that there's a possibility to be more than just this, what society expects them to be because they live in a certain situation. With that beacon, they'll be able to see it's a possibility to do more and be more, and it won't be just that lucky one or two, it will be several. And I think they need someone to believe in them, and ROMAC will believe in them.
Let's rewrite and move forward together with the Robert O'Neill Multicultural Arts Center and saving the Regal Theater.